I don't care about any of those things anymore, but it wasn't that way years ago. And so I'm curious, like, what are some of the hurdles that you had to overcome within yourself to decide I'm going to, build this massive personal brand?
I think I did. I think I was smart in a certain way early on because I didn't want to make it my name. I think I had too much fear around being the authority. I didn't think I was smart enough back then or had enough experience. I was 30 years old. So I didn't call it the Lewis House Show. I called it the School of Greatness with my name. And I think that gave me a lot more peace because I can make it about others. And so also in the transition of that, more people are like, hey, we want to hear more from you. And so I've had to overcome that now, and I'm starting to do more solo content and more individual personal content, which I've always kind of shied away from.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. One, ego. I didn't want my ego to be like running the show and be like, look at me, I have all the answers, which I've never thought that I did. Two, you're setting yourself up for more criticism when it is your personal content more. And three, I think it's like wanting to make sure that I'm always living in humility and in service. But I was talking with a friend, Jason Wilson, the other day, who's, pretty big on social media. And I keep telling him, dude, everyone wants to hear more from you. But he's like, I just want to be in service and I don't want it to be about me. And I'm like, you're a mirror to me right now because people need your wisdom and they want to hear from you.
Yeah.
And if they read your book, that's great. But then if they don't have more content to go afterwards, then you leave them with just the book and then nothing else. And they want more from you, teachings, content, messages. So I'm in a season now where I'm starting to do more personal content. But again, I also just had too much on my plate that I didn't have the space and the energy to think creatively to create personal content. So now I'm trying to empower my team, let go more so I can have space and energy to create my own stuff.
It's like a whole episode right there. That was amazing. I mean, thank you for sharing that because I didn't know the whole context of it, but the whole thing's incredible because I think a lot of times we think it's kind of like the phrase shame breeds in the dark, where it's like when you bring it to light, it has no more power over you. And like your mess is your message. And it did become this thing where you allow other people to heal. But it's so hard for us to be vulnerable, especially about the things that we have the most shame around. And so the thing that I like to said is that you said there has to be some context with it. And your therapist kind of helped you with that. For anybody who's out there that has gone through something that they want to share with other people, can you even kind of like the steps of what that would look like and how it helped you?
The thing that she told me, because I was like, I'm really afraid. I was like, I opened up about this in this workshop, but I felt like it was a safe environment because we all went through stuff and we were all opening up about everything, right? So, and I may never see some of these people again, although I built great relationships with them, so it became different. But I was like, my friends and my family is very close. And what if they don't accept me? What if they don't love me? Then what? And she said, ask the question for each one of your family members before you tell them this, and make sure you feel good about their response when you ask them this question. And the question was, first setting some context. So I called each one of them. I wasn't in the same city as them at that time. So I called each one of them, my family. And she said, set the context first and say, hey, listen, there's been some reflections that I've been going through in my life that I've been thinking about and some realizations I've been having. And I realized there's some things that I'm ashamed of that I want to tell you about, but I'm really nervous and I'm scared to talk about them. And I wanted to ask you a question first. Is there anything I could ever say or do that would make you not love me? So that's the question. Is there anything I could ever say or do that would make you not love me?
Wow.
And if you then wait for the response. And if a friend or a family member is kind of like joking or kind of like, well, I don't know, it depends, then maybe you don't tell them right then. So make sure you set the context of what you've been experiencing and your feelings and where you're at. Ask them the question, is there anything I could ever say or do that would make you not love me? And then see how you feel based on their response. And then, if they say, no, there's nothing you could ever say or do that can make me not love you, then they're opening up the door for you to talk about it. Now you have to have ultimate courage and share something you've never shared or share something you're afraid of. And depending on their emotional awareness or their emotional intelligence, they may not give you the response that you want. They may not know how to handle the response also. Like there's some deep, dark stuff that people go through.
Yeah.
And their initial response may be, oh, I'm so sorry, or they may not know. So you've got to be willing to sit with them also in their discomfort and be okay with it and being able to sit in the mess of the conversation.